Norway's decision to attack first because China actually did select the map.
Ooh,
and we're going to see Pharah and Mercy.
All right.
Undead will be on the Soldier 76 though. Eileen playing the Sombra here on defense. So we'll see if Undead can deal with this problem they're going to have in terms of having this aerial duo firing into the points. A very slow approach right now.
Yeah, we've got Undead on the Soldier, so they certainly do have a way to handle this Pharah. But if Norway is able to approach it cautiously, maybe get a pick or two, they can move on to the point. Trying now. Onigod just firing into the cafe. If he can at least force Undead off the high ground, they can get some purchase on it maybe. On the point right now is China, and it's getting pretty hard to dislodge him. Aiko getting very low before he jumps out.
It's just a lot of poke right now from both teams. Eileen already with that EMP, so poke successful for China, and also poke successful for Norway as we do see the res already up. So Decod's gonna fall though.
Oh, he got the hack off onto Mercy. IPN going down anyway, didn't have a chance to even get to that res. And Eileen just cleaning it up. Looks like China's gonna hold Hollywood for the moment.
I mean, you're going to be okay with that if you're Norway, because you did get the EMP out. Eileen only sitting at 33%. So this is where you can actually really come through it. They're going to switch IPN back over to the Zenyatta and only got over to the Soldier, so they just get rid of the res without even using it. Surprising.
You know, I feel like they could have made at least one more try at it, but Norway, you know, being decisive about their comp changes, so we'll see how it works out. Trying to dive Undead on the high ground. They get the kill. Pulse Bomb comes out a little bit late, doesn't find anything, but Norway has the upper hand coming into this one. MG more or less untouched. Oh, and Yao Yao gets a nano boost along with that Primal Rage. IPN can't escape. And it looks like this push for Norway is in pretty serious trouble.
That was actually a very good pincer attack from China. Yao Yao with the nano boost onto him, and then he basically herded everybody around the side, and there was a D.Va self-destruct at the other end of the corridor to pick up that kill. So Norway had the right idea. Orb of Discord on top of the cafe where the Soldier was standing. They killed Undead early, but the response from China was just to all in with the nano boost.
Well, this has been the really amazing thing about China, right? Is that they seem to handle pressure from all sides so well. As we sort of see Norway going in again, they've only got about 1:30 left. Aiko with the Dragon Blade has to spend a lot of time reflecting, gets taken down before he really gets any kills out of that, and China already cleaning this one up. A kill on IPN, that's a nasty split spawn that Norway's gonna have to deal with, especially if Trob goes down here, manages to survive, but that was a close call.
Eileen doing so much work yesterday on the Genji.
Is there any hero this guy's not amazing on?
It's been pretty impressive, and China again just coming through using the bare minimum. They dive in, 5 King pops the sound barrier, and Norway, because of their swaps, has not really ever had an ult economy advantage.
Here comes the EMP. Eileen waiting for an opportunity. Decod going really deep. Pops a Primal Rage. I think he might have gotten stuck with a Pulse Bomb. Either way, the Primal Rage preventing him from taking too much damage. There's the EMP coming in immediately. IPN goes down, as you often see after that EMP gets popped. Undead, meanwhile, zoned a bit out. They're going to go ahead and give him the tack visor for some cleanup. They may not have even needed that. Yeah. Actually, Shy could have probably saved that one.
They did not need the nano boost, especially because Eileen's EMP was so good, eliminating the Zenyatta shields. Only 2 or 3 soldier bullets after that, depending on whether you get headshots or not. You can take that Zenyatta down. So you really see that shot calling coming into action. Target selection, very, very good.
This is a rough start for Norway if they can't at least get the payload going. Envision coming in from behind. Ooh, gets caught up, gets taken down, and already Onigod Helix rocketed to death as well. And Norway is looking like they are going to get full held here on Hollywood. IPN goes down. China with the celebration sound barrier. And that should be about that. I don't think Norway can get their reinforcements back in time. Aiko popping out of the D.Va suit right as the self-destruct goes off. Another EMP. And as Envision falls, that's going to be it. China with the full hold on Hollywood. Great start for the home team.
Yeah, absolutely dominant performance. Norway came in, they thought they were going to be able to use the Pharah and the Mercy, but they swapped it up, changed back over to a more dive composition to try and unseat Undead from the top of the cafe. And while they were successful at that, the Ana grenades in there sort of foiled their subsequent dives, and Eileen with the late EMPs, or flanking later EMPs, waiting until Norway committed, really sealing the deal. It's a fantastic defense from China on what was definitely their best map yesterday.
Absolutely, and it's frustrating, right? Because if you're Norway, you come in with the strategy. I think the pharmacy was a bit clever, but it was just handled so well. China had the comp immediately to deal with it.
Well, it's rough because China was not showing a lot of soldier play yesterday, and if you're expecting the Tracer and Genji, that's something you think might work. A credit to Norway for trying to swap it up, but China definitely doing a great job of countering the dive effectively and playing around the cafe. So, you know, Norway... if I was Norway after seeing China's performance yesterday on Hollywood, I think you probably don't expect to win this map regardless. And I think you have to look ahead. Just because this one has been one-sided, Norway obviously still has a chance themselves to full hold. But just because this map was so one-sided, you look towards the future and say, all right, we're finally going to get a map we can pick up next and focus your efforts on that instead.
That's right. So Norway on the defense now, China getting ready to attack, and they only need that first tick on the control point to win this map, since Norway was full held. And I guess people are in harmony. We're in harmony. Our casting is always in harmony. That's right. We're the Zenyatta of casters.
Well, IPN, speaking of that Zenyatta, has had some great...
oh, he's so good, dude.
Yeah, great one-shots on Tracer players, so he's been punishing peaks very well in his match so far here, so keep an eye on him and whether he's going to be able to contain Undead on this Tracer. China going for a very standard dive composition in this meta, and Norway going to be playing a very similar defensive style.
Here comes the dive that they were expecting. Can they handle it? Oni got able to kind of push China back out of the cafe. Yao Yao does go down. Didn't get quite the support from the team he was looking for. Oh, but Eileen comes in. 2 kills already. Both supports eliminated, and Norway routed. That is going to be that, man. Aiko taken out as well, and, well,
that's it.
Well then, all right.
That's a map of Overwatch, Doa.
Doesn't get much quicker than that, does it? All right then, I guess Eileen decides he's not going to deal with any of these shenanigans. He's like, I'm just going to kill the supports.
So the main difference when we saw the similar defensive...
It's hot. That's what I'm trying to say. It's hot. It's humid. I want to go to Nepal. We're at least going to go there virtually as the attack begins. China in the blue this time. Norway in the red. And we are on Sanctum. Standard dive for both teams. Although Onigod switching it up a bit on that Zarya. We've seen him play it before.
Oh man,
Decod with an early kill on Shine
immediately. But the turnaround there as both Undead and Eileen get the flanks onto the back line.
Eileen looking for some cleanup. Onigod trying to roast him. So low, just 7 health on Eileen right now. Has to back away, has to contend with Aiko. Can't quite do it. Dies to the dive. And Norway with a chance to take this point early, perhaps. Although losing Decod may give China a chance to fight back. Undead did go down as well. It has been such a brawl so far on Sanctum. Norway does claim the point, though, but can they hold it?
Yeah, they should be able to hold it. Not going to quite land that pulse bomb. Initial kills definitely going in Norway's favor. And we are going to see the baby diva here. She still is desuited, so there's a bit of a moment here. There, finally the suit coming back for MG.
That's right. China just trying to slowly make their way towards the point.
And Undead
did get the kill on IPM. Yeah, that could be good.
They keep getting the backline pickoffs. The supports are having a lot of trouble staying alive on the Norwegian side.
Oh, they're getting the front line too. They're getting every line at the moment, so Norway will have to give up that point. Looks like China's going to flip it. About 40%. Looks like it's going to be 37 at the end for Norway, so not a bad first hold on the point.
Norway needs to play further back. So right now, if we watch where the Zarya shields are going from Onigod, they're mostly going on to Decod up in the front line so we can get some charge. But that's leaving the supports, the Lucio and the Zenyatta, very vulnerable to Eileen and Undead.
Eileen just poking, nearly has that Dragon Blade ready to go. One more left click will do it. Or just waiting. There we go. And so what's he going to be able to do with it? Transcendence comes out from China as they try to hold off Norway. Is this the moment? Aiko waiting for it. He's got his Dragon Blade as well. Onigod does go down, so Norway short-handed here. They may have to back away. Soundberry used. They are committing. Defensive ultimates coming out for both sides as the Genji start to cut away at the supports. 5 King does go down, but Eileen answering right back with a kill onto IPN. Looking for some more, but he's so low. Finally does go down. That pulse bomb, though, I believe, did pop MG out of his mech. At least he will be popped out now anyway. Norway trying to push forward with that primal rage. And Shy, put the orb on the diva! Put the orb on the diva! Oh, she got back in the map. She's okay. And Norway able to maybe flip the point. They've nearly got it, but as China jumps back in, now Norway's going to have to back away. It was a close fight, but Well, we just couldn't flip it over.
No, they couldn't, and they used basically everything. Both teams committing. Shy somehow getting nearly another Transcendence. That was the key ultimate that started that fight in the first place.
Right.
So doing a great job of adding the damage from the back line. You can see how far back he was shooting the orbs at the Winston. TCOD not surviving, so Onigod's gonna have an amazing Graviton surge here for Norway to come back.
Envision is very close to his pulse bomb. If they can get a big bang combo, maybe they can make it happen. Envision does get the kill on the Undead, who's just chilling by the health pack. Here we go. They've got the Transcendence as well. Shy had that one ready. Five King still did go down to the Pulse Bomb, but now Onigod in danger of dying to this D.Va. MG has tons of health. That's not going to work out. Beaten to death with the robot arm of D.Va. Meanwhile, Envision backing away. China trying to hold this point, and Norway comes so close again, but it's 99%, and that will be it. China will take Sanctum.
Onigod tried to pop that Graviton Surge. He did not think Shy was going to have another Transcendence up that quickly.
It was really fast.
But Shy was perfectly positioned to deal with the Graviton and turn that fight on its head. So only one Graviton coming down in that entire round. Backline focus. Norway needs to figure out a way to keep their supports consistently alive, because that's been the major problem.
Yeah, and you know, I feel like China tastes blood in the water now. They know that they're having some success getting back onto the supports, and why stop now? They're just going to keep doing that for the rest of the series until Norway figures out a way to stop it.
Yeah, absolutely they will. So we are going to be heading on to our second point, which will be Shrine here on Nepal.
Yep.
And a little bit more open this time. Norway still going to be sticking to that Zarya. So we'll watch where the bubbles go. Are they going on to decod again? Undead going to be sneaking around the side. He's going to run into the main tanks, though, of Norway and have to back off. Envision trying to zone him out in the 1v1. There's the bubble. On to Winston.
Yep. Bubble's gone now, though. IPN taken out by Eileen already. Again, Norway losing those supports to the dive from China. Aiko popped out of the D.Va suit. Not a great start for Norway here on Shrine. Looks like China's going to be able to claim this one pretty early. And there goes Onigod, and that'll be about that. China getting the control percent building.
This isn't working for Norway. Like, every time China sees the bubble go down, they're ignoring the Winston, they're falling back, and then they're getting a flank or a pincer attack off with their DPS onto the Norwegian supports. So they have to play more defensively, and they have to make sure that there are bubbles available, or somebody is in that back line.
Yeah.
To go ahead and protect Trump and IPN. That
was a really sick absorb there on Undead's Pulse Bomb. That was a close call for Norway. They were really grouped up, rather. But Aiko is ready with the defense matrix.
You think your mind somewhere else, Noah?
I guess so. Mine back in the game there. No, Undead was trying to Pulse Bomb them, not something else. Eileen with 2 kills already, and yeah, I really don't think the Zarya is working out for Norway. And Onigod, you know, used to play a lot of the D.Va, a lot of the Zarya, and when he moved over to that more DPS-centric role, I feel like he really started to shine. So I'm pretty surprised to see them actually tunneling on the Zarya pick quite a bit. And now we're in that situation again like we were on Sanctum, where they basically need to have a really good Graviton Surge combo to make the Zarya pick worthwhile at all.
Yeah, but there's not a great Graviton Surge combo. I mean, they can have the Big Bang at least coming up.
That's it, right?
And maybe the self-destruct if they're lucky, but Norway playing these triple tank comps is just getting picked apart by the mobility and the damage from the Chinese team.
They're pretty close to 6 ultimates, so we'll see if they want to commit here. There's the sound barrier already. There's the Transcendence, so China using both support ultimates in this fight already. Trying to go in as Norway fights. There's a Graviton Surge. Envision used the Pulse Bomb early, so they couldn't do the combo. There is the bigger bang, though, and Aiko able to take out Yao Yao. Meanwhile, Eileen with the Dragon Blade. IPN and Aiko already going down. Oh, nice reflect into Envision. And I mean, what do you say? China just so ready for everything Norway's doing. It's
the target selection from China that's so impressive with these Discord orb targets. They're able just to use their coordination to just slam Norway. I mean, that was not a close map. And that was, I think, you know, we look at Norway, that was their selection, and the triple tank just not really working out for them. And I mean, Eileen, damn. Yeah. Doing work.
Well, Eileen, I mean, we've seen him do so good on basically every champion he's picked, and this is just another occasion for that. Dragon Blade, tons of damage, tons of death.
Well, what's so impressive to me, though, is look at the timing there from Eileen. So what was going on in that room was the Graviton Surge.
We're going to have Norway in the red, China in the blue once again. as we get things started on Lunar Colony. Norway on the attack as we start things off here.
Okay, so it looks like China is going to be playing back on the point, which is what we typically see with Reaper compositions. You want to draw people into the point for all that AoE damage. And the dive composition attempting to take this high ground. Actually, China's playing pretty aggressively here from the high ground position, even though they don't have a lot of damage, and that's just going to be a back door from the Tracer. They've got to get down there.
Yeah, they're just trying to use that high ground, but they're not really able to be on the point right now. Norway building up that control meter a little bit. Didn't get quite to the first tick, but they did take down 5K, so China has to fall back. There we go, back into the point now. Here's where Reaper is supposed to shine, right? Meanwhile, Envision on the outside, trying to just make things annoying for Shy. Can he get the kill? They go in, Decod helps him out. Shy goes down. Good start for Norway as they are routing China here on Lunar Colony. Eileen taken down by Envision. Bet he was waiting for that one for a while, and that is going to be a point A take for Norway.
I just don't understand what China's goal in that defense was, like sort of tickling people from the high ground with the Reaper, because Norway's call there was very good. If they're just going to play that with their short-range composition, then why not just try and back-cap Envision, made the flank around, and then it forced them to reposition, but the picks had already come on to their support players. So a really awkward defense for China, and now that's going to leave Norway with about 6.5 minutes on the clock to finish out this map.
Yeah, Envision waiting for a sweet opportunity to use that pulse bomb. See if he finds one. They've got a good amount of ults too, and they've got the time that they don't need to commit everything right now. Undead just trying to stay alive. Shy under pressure. The pulse bomb not going to take him out though. Five Kings chasing Envision away. Decod goes down, unfortunately, for Norway. And remember how I said they didn't need to commit those ultimates? Well, they used a couple of them, and Eileen just going to wait for everything to sort of get a bit more calm and then pull out the Dragon Blade. Maybe not the most necessary Dragon Blade in the world. Nano Blade, rather, but...
It did actually force them back a little bit, but I agree with you, Doe. I think that's one that could have been saved. Onigod is getting low, but not actually going to fall.
Well, he used it... I mean, usually if you use the Dragon Blade like that before teams are committing, then they just back away, you know?
Yeah.
And they can handle you trying to come through that door, just like what we saw.
And really, China had already won that fight, even though they used fewer ultimates. So now they should be in a very good position. Norway came in, tried to snowball based off an ult economy advantage, but couldn't make it work. And Envision actually is going to pick off Shy. That's very big.
That is huge. He nearly went down to Undead as well. It's one of those crucial kills, but is Norway ready to try to capitalize on this? They're not really diving the point right now, and again, they don't really need to. They can still take time, but Decod going to go ahead and use the Primal Rage. They're going in. There's the sound barrier for both sides, actually. Pulse Bomb doesn't pick up any kills. Onigod over on the Soldier 76 now a little while ago. He's got the high ground, and he's trying to find those picks. Meanwhile, Undead just in the middle was able to get one kill with that Death Blossom. Norway getting a bit of a lead man-to-man, but China still on the point for the moment.
It's not going to matter. I mean, the Reaper is still here picking up all of this damage onto the Winston. Has to reload, though.
Yeah, Winston gets away for the moment. Yao, the Winston on China's side, goes down. Norway getting a lot of time here on point B, actually, but the respawns are coming. Eileen with the Dragon Blade, Nano Boost over onto MG with the Diva, and that is going to be the ticket for China to maybe push this back. They've got the go-ahead kills to do it.
Yeah, you can see Onigod just getting bullied there by the tank line. Defensive Matrix going to save Eileen, and Norway once again has to reset. Still plenty of time for them to work with. Lots of ult commitment already, so we should see some poking here from Norway and China as they try and get back into this match. But China used a lot there at the end just to hold.
Yeah. 54% for Norway is a very solid push on point B for Lunar Colony. That's a tough one to push into, and Norway looking a lot better here on this assault map.
Well, they still have time too, crucially.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. They can do a couple pushes, build up some ultimates, and then go for another big commitment. This next attack doesn't need to be super hardcore. MG getting a little bit low with that Diva suit. Envision has a pulse bomb, but again, you know, will he save it? Will he use it now? I think he's probably going to save it. Trying to get in a couple kills already. Eileen just wrecking people on Norway, but that's okay. Again, that wasn't the push for Norway that was supposed to take the point. That was a push to build some ultimate.
Well, I mean, but they built ultimates on the other side too. I think the real problem here for Norway is they keep running the triple DPS, and they want to do that, but there is no Diva. I mean, MG going to switch back to the Diva right now.
Well, he just wanted that suit back, you know?
Yeah, for Norway, though, there's no real counter to Undead, which is why Decod keeps dying, because the Reaper is able to take him down so easily.
Well, Eileen dies. There's a good start for Norway. China uses the sound barrier. Envision has Shy bottled up in spawn right now. Aiko does go down, though, so Envision needs to get back to the team. And again, it's like you said, who is going to kill this Reaper? Well, I think it's Reaper the one who's going to be doing the killing. Gets the kill onto Decod once again. Norway does come out a little bit ahead. If Onigod can have a big tac visor here, it could be big. Eileen goes down, but has Norway lost too much?
Yao Yao's bubbles have been so good, Noah, throughout this entire engagement, protecting Undead. The combination of that defensive matrix and the Winston bubble has been making sure Undead does a huge amount of damage.
Our support ultimates being used by Norway. They want to keep this push going. Envision still has a little bit of that sound barrier left, and they are getting the kills. Eileen answering back though. Oh, taken down by IPN. That sick headshot doing work for Zenyatta, and Norway going to get more control percent building. Is this it? Have they taken it? They have. Norway coming out with a successful attack round and 2:15 on the clock. That is a solid attack for Norway.
Definitely much better from Norway in this round, although I do think China had a very weird positioning for the defense with their composition on point A.
Yeah.
Point B, they held out for a good long time, over 4 minutes actually. So they did what they could, but eventually going to be taking that map and getting a pretty healthy time bank out of it as well.
All right, well, Norway sets a pretty high bar for Lunar Colony. China on the attack now. And on our screens, we can see MG hovering over that Widowmaker. They used it yesterday. Is he going to bring it back again here against Norway?
Yeah, sometimes we do, of course, see the Widowmaker in conjunction with dive compositions, because the idea is the aggression of the rest of the highly mobile heroes makes it so that the Widowmaker has a lot of room to work with, creating a big zone on the map.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the counter dive from the other team if they're too busy handling everybody kind of jumping into their faces.
Now, Norway is going to be using the similar composition to what we saw them yesterday, so no Lucio. It's about a spread defense on the high ground with Ana and Zenyatta.
Yeah.
That long-range Soldier 76. So I don't really think MG is going to get much of an opportunity to snipe here. He should just be pushed out by the long-range fire. So, and they'll be ready. They'll be definitely ready for this Widowmaker as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they were watching the matches yesterday just like we were. They know what the possibilities are. Looks like there's mail on that computer there. Somebody should check that. Could be important.
I don't think so. I think this station has been abandoned.
Could be a prince in a far-off country who has some money for them, you know? You don't want to miss that opportunity, Monte Cristo. You'd regret it for the rest of your life. Well, here we go. Norway on the defense this time. China trying to match the attack, but it's a strong one. MG sticking with that Widowmaker. Let's see if he can get some shots.
Yeah, they are at least going to start with it. So looking for the angle right now. Nobody showing in line of sight. So Onigod needs to be very careful with this. Does take a body shot, but
it's super risky. Onigod checking things out. MG looking for another shot through that window. Gets the kill onto Onigod. That was the target he wanted to take down. That was the long-range threat he would have had to maybe deal with. And now that Widowmaker's wide open. Nice shot onto IPN. Here comes a Winston. You got to back off now. Oh, gets taken out with the mid-air punch, but he got a few shots.
Two, so not in as bad a shape as they could be, but Envision low. Envision taken down by Undead, and they were not fast enough to deal with the Widowmaker. Instead, sort of milling around on that high ground within line of sight. They should have definitely anticipated the Widowmaker as a possibility here, and that's going to be a very quick first cap from China.
It just didn't feel to me that they were taking the Widowmaker as seriously as they had to. I mean, where they retreated to was another open line of fire for that hero. So if you see the Widowmaker, you got to back up. You got to use those corners, of which there are many on Lunar Colony, and they didn't really do that.
Now, the problem is, too, they really didn't want to group up on that high ground and make themselves vulnerable to a lot of AoE attack.
Envision. Okay. MG is on fire right now. IPN playing with it.
They have to walk onto the point, too, and they have to walk into the line of sight.
I almost said a swear. That was so good. MG with a clean shot now. Oh, got to worry about the Winston yet again. I'll see if Decod can take him down. Gets back out of the point as China looks to set a much better time than Norway was able to achieve. Still 6:20 left on the clock as Norway scrambles to hold it. China getting the kills, but they've got to deal with those respawns, and they come fast. Undead finally falling to Onigod, and Norway with this tac visor should be able to push back. Yeah, that's the end of it for China.
They are. So even though the Widowmaker died, and that was not particularly consequential because the initial picks had already occurred, China only 5 members on the point at that given time, and the Diva rushing back, not able to be there quite quickly enough. That tac visor from Onigod. So Norway stabilizes just a little bit, but many, many minutes left to sit here and burn. And China actually coming up on a pretty healthy ultimate advantage right now.
Yep. Norway with a bit to work with on the ultimate side, but not as much as they'd hoped for right now. Shy looking for those sweet, sweet right-click picks.
Yeah, China as a team plays angles really well. We saw that with Shy right here. We saw it with MG on that Widowmaker, and they're just going to go in.
I think that's smart. He saw the Genji under threat from the Winston, wanted to keep Eileen up. He used that. Now Norway comes in with their own Transcendence in answer. The support ultimate's traded. Yao Yao does go down. Norway with an early start on this defensive hold. MG popped out of the Diva suit, and it looks like Norway's going to be able to handle this one.
I think that was a bit presumptuous from China. The poke damage had gone down. You don't need to use the Transcendence right there, especially they should know Trans up on that other side. So Norway pretty simply able to take that fight, and Envision still putting on a little bit of forward pressure.
You know, I think the trick there was that Eileen was really close to his Dragon Blade, and so because of that, Shy really wanted to prioritize keeping him up because they saw that as their answer to sort of taking more time on the point. So, yeah, was it a mistake? Possibly, but I think that was the theory behind it, at least.
Yeah. Now, Eileen's still sitting on that Dragon Blade, but has to wait for 5 King, a few more percent until he gets the necessary protection. Now, watch and see, when will Traub use this sound barrier? Are they going to wait for it? They have to be disciplined.
Here we go. D-God pops that Primal Rage. Well, they're using the support ult right away. They need a lot out of this push, though, and Shy going down early does not help. There's the self-destruct and a takedown Yao Yao, and Norway, again, repelling the push with ease. China, for the first time I think we've seen in this tournament, looking a little bit frantic.
Yeah, they are, and from what we've seen from their previous discipline, yes, the staggering occurs brutally for MG. As we've seen their previous support ultimates be very well coordinated, this time they're engaging just a little bit early, which is allowing Norway to peel backwards and then re-engage. Traub, great, but we talked about the discipline, very good there. So he's the one who has he's not as itchy with his trigger finger and actually holds on to his ultimate throughout that entire fight. Same thing with Eileen, though, not committing that Dragon Blade just yet.
That's right. Here we go again. Shy pops that Transcendence arguably very early once more. And China not really getting a lot of kills or pressure out of that. Answering sound barrier from Norway as they come in. Ooh, they do layer their support ultimates, though. Not an ideal situation. China going to hold the point for the moment with that self-destruct, but D-God immediately back on. They're going to dive back onto China, and that's going to be another hold for Norway.
Yes, but this is the window for China, Noah. The layering of those support ultimates is a very crucial mistake. Eileen saw that go down, does not pull the Dragon Blade, and that means there's going to be very little defense for Norway coming through in the next push. So this is the really good opportunity for China to actually take this point. There may not be another one this game.
I mean, a lot of this rests on Onigod now. He's really close to that tack visor. That's the one thing that could maybe push Eileen back during that Dragon Blade. If he can build it up quickly, maybe they've got an answer, but China's coming in right now. Waiting for an opportunity to use that Dragon Blade. Tack visor nearly up for Onigod. Here we go, he's going to use it to try to push China back. Eileen going to hold the Dragon Blade again. He doesn't need to use it right now. And Onigod not finding a whole lot. Here we go. China finally getting the fight they were looking for, and that is the cue for Eileen to grab that Dragon Blade. Nice reflect kill onto IPM, and that's going to be a take. 2:07 on the clock. They get it. Slightly less than the time bank, but still a very good push for China.
You know, China made some mistakes that round. They made more mistakes in that map than we've seen them on any other map so far here at the Overwatch World Cup. But that said, they finally capitalized. They understood that that was going to be their best time to push. Good patience from Eileen with the Dragon Blade. And it's those kind of miscommunications that in a high-level game of Overwatch can really sink you. The layering of those support ults. Had there been a transfer Norway, had there been a sound barrier in that fight, they wouldn't have been able to get the effectiveness out of the Dragon Blade. So very good precision timing from China and really taking advantage of Norway's error.
Yeah, it's all connected. If you have that support ultimate, you can save the tactical visor on the Soldier 76 a little bit longer maybe too.
Yeah, Onigod, you're right. Had to pop that very early, and it didn't get really any kills. It was a very good response by Yao Yao. Kept his leap and his bubble available just to cut him off and make sure he wasn't going to have that line of sight. So China looks like they're going to be going back to the attack Widowmaker.
Okay.
Norway, they are going to vary their composition just a little bit. Aiko will be on the defense on the Genji instead of the Diva this time.
Yeah, going for that defensive 3 DPS. And they will be ready, I think, very ready to jump on that Widowmaker if they see it again. And Aiko, of course, with that option to just reflect it right back at her.
I think you're right, Joe. I think that's the logic. They wanted another hero that could quickly.
Well, here we go.
And there we go.
Oh,
okay.
yeah. I think they were ready for that Widowmaker. Yeah,
much better.
Saw that one coming, didn't they?
Good adaptation. They played further forward this time. Is cutting off the Widowmaker while the rest of the team tried to sneak around. So that will be a good delay here for Norway. And
will MG swap though?
He just doesn't look like it. I think he probably should. I think you don't want to do this, but he's still looking for that attack this time. The rest of China is forming sort of a defensive ball around him, but you can't do that. You actually do have to take this point, obviously. So
yeah, you can't move forward if you're sitting back defending the Widowmaker, and kind of Assault is a bit about moving forward, isn't it?
Definitely is. Yeah. And so Eileen finally going to get into the point, and
the reflect should be back up for Aiko. There it is. Yeah, that actually got reflected right there. That was a close call. Envision, meanwhile, trying to get in the back lines, trying to put pressure onto China. Again, you know, who hasn't been able to move too far forward. Yao Yao did get the kill on the Aiko. Now Onigod goes down. So China just slowly grinding away at the members of Team Norway. And this should be a point they take.
This should be after those two members going down, but they haven't been able to focus anyone else yet. It is a 5v6, and the spawns are going to be just a little bit closer here for Norway.
Well, but nice stick on the Trob, or at least he got him anyway. And that's a very, very low health IPN. Yeah, he will go down too, so China, not the easiest time taking point A, but they should be able to grab it. Aiko holding though, he takes down Eileen and actually only got back on the point. Are you kidding me? They will actually hold for a little bit longer.
Yeah, that kill onto Eileen was crucial.
Yeah.
Eileen has the Dragon Blade, but no real opportunity to use it. Gonna try and backcap here, but Norway will contest with all 6 members.
Yeah, Norway storms onto the point. Just 20 seconds left for China to make something happen here. Nano Blade coming up. Aiko gets a kill on 5King right away. Looking for one onto Eileen. Maybe Aiko has to back away. That pick on the Lucio, quite good. IPN with the Transcendence. Eileen goes down, courtesy of Onigod once more. That Zenyatta ultimate keeping Norway safe. Primal Rage comes out for Yao Yao, but they're going to need more than the Angry Monkey to take this one, I think. He does get the kill on the Trob, but Norway with the edge right now. OT ticking away. And Eileen back in there again. No, that was 5King. He will go down. And as overtime ticks away, Norway will hold on point A. So if they can just get that percentage far enough, they have a really good shot of winning Lunar Colony.
Absolutely they do. Have to go up above 83.2%.
Right.
If they are going to actually take this map. But China foiled there in the end. And one of the strengths we've seen from Norway after taking a look at that first map is that when they're about to lose one of these control points, we saw it on King's Row when they played against Hong Kong, they're actually very good at stalling points. And you wouldn't think they would try to go back in, but Deathadder in particular has made some of the big plays on the Winston, and they're patient enough to know their limits. That time they let it nearly complete, but managed to get all 6 members back on.
Well, every one of these guys seems very able to make those clutch plays when they need to in those kind of last-second situations. So now Norway on the attack. You can see the little yellow arrow on the control meter, and that's where Norway needs to get to win this map. China, meanwhile, looks like they're going to pull out the Reaper defense once again.
Hopefully it won't be as awkward as it was last time. But you know what?
It was odd, yeah.
You know what I would really like, Doa?
What's that?
Onigod to play that Widowmaker. Because if they're going to try the point defense, and it's all about the mind games right now. So China probably is not, well, I say that, but they're all stacked up on the forward high ground right now.
Okay. I don't think they're expecting Norway to pull out this Widowmaker.
I think it would be more effective if they were pushed further backwards, but they're actually not going to do that. Okay, quick check with the Sonic Arrow right now before swapping off.
Probably, yep, there's Winston's switch from Deathadder.
But it will be the Widowmaker once again. So where are the picks here? They're not going to really be in line of sight.
Oh, that was a close reflect there. Oh, man. Gotta dodge your own bullets if you're Onigod right now. That's tough. Looking for the air shot.
Winston bubble.
A little bit of damage. Yeah, Winston bubble able to mitigate most of that there. Meanwhile, Eileen does go down courtesy of IPN.
I would not have
bloodthirsty Zenyatta out there.
I would not have dove into the Reaper if I was Norway right there. In fact, I would have just done what they did before, which is have Envision back cap the point and then force them back to give Widowmaker the opportunity to actually get some of those shots.
Well, that's the thing. We saw them just bypass the defense of China last time, and with that Widowmaker, they're feeling tempted to approach it a little bit more cautiously.
There you go. That's the angle you want.
Yeah.
As you force them onto the point.
A lot of damage onto Shy, but not enough. Meanwhile, Undead taking some.
Oh, that's a lot of missed shots there. Could have been cleaner.
Yeah. Not the greatest Widowmaker shots we've seen from Onigod just yet. Nearly has that ultimate, but you know, they kind of know where China is, so it's not going to be maybe the most useful thing.
Now, they just have to keep threatening the point right now. That has to be the central goal. Unfortunately, Shy already with that nano boost, so a lot of damage been healed up on the side of China, giving some good ultimates over. Norway not really having that opportunity.
You know, the
Onigod is very actually close to the point right now.
The Pulse Bomb not working out for Envision as well. Eileen trying to get that Dragon Blade. He's got it now. He's got the nano boost, but there's a Transcendence. Doesn't help Tron as he goes out for the dash. There's a kill on the Aiko as well. And Eileen coming up big on the defense. If I'm Norway, I think I'm going to swap Onigod off of that Widowmaker and just go for the dive. You've only got 25 seconds. You need to make something happen.
You absolutely need to make something happen. But if you're Norway, you know you still have another attack. You know there's no nano boost. You know there's no Dragon Blade. And you know that there's no sound barrier.
Yeah.
So switch over to a Soldier or a Reaper. In this case, it will be a Soldier. And then just go for it. Trob, make sure he gets that sound barrier and use Aiko there. Of course, with that Dragon Blade to clean up the point.
Here's where you got to be the sneaky Reaper if you're undead. Here's where you're looking for that big Death Blossom. Eileen does fall early, but Norway has to really watch out for that Reaper ultimate.
Oh,
and
no!
that is why! That is exactly why! Undead has the Death Blossom. You gotta watch out for the sneaky Reaper. The sound barrier was late for Norway, and they are not going to win this one. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, China's gonna be able to hold here on point A. And that's a rough one, man. I mean, you think about every factor and then you forget the Reaper.
I mean, China has been very good at playing with the Reaper on Horizon.
Yep.
You have to give them credit. I'm not sure if I would call that a sneaky Reaper, considering it was just like yelling, die, 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 and spinning around in the middle of the point.
The sneakiness comes before the pressing of Q, Monty Chris. I'll practice. I'm sorry, Mr. Lee. Well, here we go. Norway on the attack once more. In the red, China in the blue on defense, and Eileen on that Sombra once more. A crowd going wild and certainly quite pleased with the performance of their hometown heroes.
I mean, the question now is whether China is going to be dropping a game in this group stage here in our first leg of the Overwatch World Cup.
If they can 4-0 Norway, unlikely, depending on how things go against their opponents tomorrow.
Let's see here. Envision trying to get around back to the top flank right now. DGod actually does pick off 5 King, but has an Orb of Discord on him, so will fall to Shy in the end. So 1-for-1 the trades, but the card getting a little bit closer contested at the moment. They do force Undead off the high ground and over to the health pack.
Eileen already has that EMP built up. I mean, when your whole team is healing off those big health packs, you're going to get it so fast.
This is why she's so good here. Like, there's so many reasons why you like Sombra on point A of the defense here. You have those two big health packs right next to each other. Yeah. You have an ability to get onto high ground from multiple angles without necessarily using your translocator to do a drop-down EMP.
Oh, here we go.
And they're going to come in from behind for that EMP. There it is.
Looking for the kill on the IPN. He finds it. That's what you do, man. You EMP and you kill the Zenyatta. It breaks my heart as a Zen main, but you can't deny it's pretty effective.
Well, as an Omnic hater, Doa, I love seeing it.
You dirty Omnic hater.
That's me.
Well, I hope you're happy.
I am very happy after seeing that.
Norway on the attack once more. They've got a couple ultimates to work with. They're nearly up to that Transcendence from IPN. So they've got some utility with this next push. If Onigod can get a good angle along with Envision, maybe they can make something happen. Envision looking to come from behind with that Pulse Bomb. What can he find with it? If he can get Shy, that would be big. Ooh, has to watch out though. That is a duel that Tracer has been having a tough time with this weekend. And China gonna go ahead and rock Norway's world once more, it seems like.
Yeah, Undead too, just firing into the back lines, trying to get a little bit more of that ult charge up after he did drop that tac visor. Onigod also used his ultimate, but really to no avail. Norway at least is sitting on a big support ult advantage though, so you have to think that this is their probably best window to push through point A with only a minute and a half left. Wait for Aiko. Traub and IPN cannot layer their support ultimates again if they want to have an extended push, because they still have quite a ways to go for this payload to hit those big steel doors.
It's really unfortunate that Onigod used the attack visor in that last fight too, because if they were able to make this a full 6-up push, they might just be able to roll over things, but it depends on how the EMP goes. Oh, that hurts. A hack onto Envision, and that makes a Tracer an easy target. China winning this fight handily yet again, and Norway, what do? You just gotta regroup, and Aiko unfortunately is gonna get very badly split spawned, as they are not gonna let him get back to his team or die for quite a while.
Try to body block the Diva as much as you can. There you go, and you know, with that Doa, we're looking at about another 10 seconds before Norway can even feasibly get onto the cart now as Aiko respawns, and that window of time has grown really tight for them, and also it has allowed 5King to get up his sound barrier in return. So Norway in a very rough position right now.
Oh, there they are. Thank you, Tracer. I would not have noticed if not for you. Sound barrier for China already as they come in. Eileen can't quite get the hack onto Winston, but she may not need it. Has a good EMP if she gets in there. There it is. Finds the kill on the IPN again right away. Saw that one coming a mile away. And China looking like they may have what it takes in this fight. Onigod did take out Eileen, maybe with the sound barrier. They've got enough, but as soon as the defensive ults end, Undead unleashes the attack visor, and even with the Diva there, it's not enough for Norway. They back off for a moment. They can come back in now, but Envision so low. There's the kill for Undead. Kind of hard to get him off the high ground. Onigod looking for kills with his own attack visor, but he is forced back by Winston. That's going to be a problem for Norway. We're into OT already, and self-destruct, just keeping them away from the point for just that much longer. Trying to get back onto it, but no. Undead charging forward, and that is going to be a full hold for China. Doesn't get much more definitive than that, does it?
Yeah, it does not. Eileen just doing so much work on the Sombra, and that's what a good team in Overwatch will do. They know which ultimates you have available. They're making the right shot calls, and they basically just forced Norway into a position where they were never able to use their support ultimates effectively because of Eileen's positioning, repeatedly using the EMP to pick off the Zenyatta in the back line. And Norway just had to be a little bit more aggressive, honestly. Like, sometimes you don't want to pop that trance early. Like, it doesn't feel great to just sort of run up to the cart with the Transcendence, but the other option is, as you're walking up to the cart without using the Transcendence, you just get EMP'd and die.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, yeah, we've all seen the clips on Reddit where, like, the Zenyatta hears the Sombra come out of stealth and hits the Transcendence just in time, but that is really hard to do, even at the top level. And I believe we even did see IPN do that exact thing yesterday, but it can't hit those every time, and it is a tough situation for Norway as they have to defend really far up. China doesn't really need to push that payload much of anywhere, just in front of big Earls, and that's going to be the 4-0 for them.
Yeah, also, when we saw Norway in basically the same position yesterday, because both teams did complete the map with about the same amount of time bank left over, which is essentially the identical position we are in right now when it comes to finishing out this game. Of course, with a little bit, about two and a half minutes more time for China. But in this case, Norway did fail at defending here on the first point when they were up against Hong Kong, which is I would say, worse team than China from what we've seen after one complete day of map play.
I'd agree. Looks like Undead's going to check the train car with the Sonic Arrow at the beginning, just to make sure there's no really up-close shenanigans from Norway.
Well, you do expect that, right? They have to be so aggressive on this defense now. There aren't any more choices to be made, and you're going to have to see. IPN's going to have a hell of a game. He has switched over to the Ana instead, and Undead will be playing a McCree in a triple DPS look here for China.
Cool, all right. Well, I mean, this is obviously something that could be good at handling Envision on the Tracer. Can also get some good long-range shots on whoever's camping out on top of big Earls. So it's just sort of putting that pressure on, and China just sort of wants to grind their way forward with this poke, it looks like.
I do think this is a bit of showboating.
He is showboating for sure, too. But
you could play the soldier here, and I think you'd probably be in a little bit better situation. But I suppose the other advantage to this, Doa, is that when you have such a short amount of time for the cart to move, as we start to see Norway fall apart, the actual ultimate zones for so long that it allows you to push the cart very effectively. So maybe that's the logic.
And this is not going great for Norway so far. Aiko popped out of the Diva suit. Undead has been basically untouched, and the payload continues to roll. There's a pulse bomb, not really finding anything. Looking for that kill into Traub, not going to have to wait too long. Nice flashbang over the top of the cart. I think he got 2 people with that, actually. teammates following up on it. And the payload moving ever forward. There's going to be the Transcendence from China just to keep that push going. And with Deadeye charging up very quickly now. They don't even need to worry about it. That's it. And China will take the 4-0.
I think